We both put together our combined Sydney Derby 11s. The only rule, basically, you can tackle this however you want, but the rule was the players you select have to have played in a derby, which means you couldn't pick, say...
Del Piero or...
Oh, no, Del Piero played in derbies.
You did?
Yeah. You didn't get him in?
I didn't.
Well, I didn't get him in either, to be fair. But you couldn't pick a Dwight York, for instance, or anyone from Sydney FC way back in the day who didn't play...
Makes sense.
...in the derby, because that doesn't make much sense, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
You can start, Tommy. I don't know your 11, so let's talk to me.
Well, I've gone for a 4-2-3-1, which almost every team in the A-League seems to play these days.
Same thing.
So Ryan Grant, we just discussed him at right back.
Goalkeeper first, though.
Oh, sorry. Ante Kovic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so just also what he did in the Asian Champions League.
Yep.
Also with the Wanderers, their early success, he was pivotal to all of that. And no, I thought he was fantastic. So, mind you, Vukovic and Redmayne are probably a little bit hard done by with that. But, yeah. Ryan Grant, Wilkinson, Sporanovic and Zulo is my back four.
I got half of that. I got Grant and Wilco in mine.
Right, and who was your other two?
Well, we may as well go through them together then. So Vukovic was my goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And my back four was Grant, Wilkinson, Michael Beecham and Scott Jamieson.
Right.
Jamo for me was, I don't know if you ever played Football Manager, Tommy, but Jamo was one of the all-time great Australian signings on Football Manager. He never did me wrong.
I thought Spear's a bit stiff to miss out with that.
Yeah.
He wasn't there for long. That's probably the one thing you could say. But
Beecham, though, I feel underrated. I think we forget how good he was. He went to a World Cup as well, played in derbies. Like, just a really solid...
He was.
I mean, that centre-back pairing of Wilkinson and Beecham, you're thinking prime Wilco, prime Beecham. No one's getting through that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think Wilkinson was the one nail on at the back for me. But if I go to midfield, Aaron Moy and Luke Bratton. I think Aaron Moy probably did... We didn't see the best of Aaron Moy under Popper at the Wanderers, but, we're talking probably the best midfielder of this generation that Australia's produced. Couldn't leave him out.
Yeah.
And Bratsy's obviously, what he's done in the A-League speaks for itself, and he was fantastic at Sydney FC, so... They're my two. What were yours?
I've gone Aaron Moy for the same reasons.
Yeah.
I've also gone Brandon O'Neill.
Yep.
Because, and look, he's not the player he was, but when Sydney FC were at their absolute best...
Him and Brillante.
He was on fire.
Yeah.
There was an excellent midfielder. The system that he played under Arnie as well, that was the peak Arnie, the almost invincibles.
Yeah.
If you're putting Moy and... Because Moy's not the most mobile sort of midfielder, but if you let Brandon O'Neill do the running for him and let... Aaron Moy sort of pull the strings, that's good. I mean, you got a bit of that with Bratsy, but they're two similar sort of players,
it's true, it's true. Gone for a similar theme we have.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
10?
I think, well, Milos Ninkovic.
Yeah, but which one?
Good question. I'm not going to polarise. So, I actually have... My front third's very Sydney FC heavy, and...
Yeah, actually, mine is all... From Ninko onwards, mine are only Sydney FC.
Same, and I think if we're being objective, we look at since the Wanderers joined how successful Sydney FC's been. You kind of have to include these players. So I've gone for Brosk, Ninko, and Adrian Merzejewski. So, don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I think we might actually have the same front four. So you've got Ninko behind them, right?
Ninko, and then Broski on the left, Adrian on the right, Lafondra up front.
That's exactly what I have.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's exactly. And Mizejewski, what a big shame it was he was only in the league for one season. Because he carved up so much. I think he scored, I'm pretty sure he's like number 2 or number 3 in the all-time Sydney Derby scorers list, which is, look, people come and go from the league, particularly foreigners and all that sort of stuff. But in the one season he was here, he had a real impact in the Derby itself, which is why I thought he's got to be in it. He had 4 in the Derby. And
it wasn't just his goals and assists, but he's like, the things that you don't get statistics for, he would just dominate the game single-handedly. And I don't think there's been many foreigners, if any, that have done what he did when he came here. Yeah. So
high levels of swagger too.
Big time.
Might have been the swaggiest A-League player ever. He's right up there. And then Lafondra, goal machine.
He was, yeah.
Absolute goal machine. And Brosk, possibly on the Mount Rushmore of the A-League, to be honest, overall. Like, he is that good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So very similar teams, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's, great minds think alike, I think.